Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, STV.
Men, are you feeling tired, stressed, or just don't have the energy you used to? Did you know this could be related to decreased testosterone levels? Luckily, there's a safe, effective solution. Weeder Prime helps support healthy testosterone levels with clinically tested key ingredients. Just 2 capsules of Weeder Prime each day can help change your mood, energy, focus, body fat, and lean muscle. Feel the way you felt 10, 20, even 30 years ago. Rediscover your Prime with Weeder Prime. To find a retailer near you, visit WeederPrime.com. That's WEIDER Prime.com.
There's only one place in the Santa Cruz Valley that offers you delicious food, an outdoor patio with fire pits, a daily bottomless mimosa and Bloody Mary brunch, and a mechanical bull. The Saddle Ranch Chop House in Valencia. Home-style cooking and down-home hospitality. Happy hour, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. with beer and cocktail specials starting at $2.74. All-you-can-eat ribs Tuesday nights. There's something for everyone at Saddle Ranch Chop House. Open 7 days a week, including holidays, for brunch, lunch, dinner, and a late supper. The Saddle Ranch Chop House, located at the Westfield Valencia Town Center.
Hey there, I'm Tori with your hometown station weather. Another very warm day today. We're looking at sunny skies and a high of 99. The triple digits are back for tomorrow, Saturday, a high of 104. On Sunday, upper 90s. For anything and everything Santa Clarita Valley related, go to hometownstation.com. Find KHTS on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at KHTS Radio.
And welcome to the Alex Urbina Radio Show. I'm your host. This is a show all about life coaching and how to create maximum value for yourself from a life coach, or from the simple fact of being willing to be open to all possibilities. On a series called Helping You Reach Your Full Potential, we're going to go into a live coaching session with one of my favorite millennials. She's a brave, resilient, creative woman leader. Her name is Abby Uriosti. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the compliments.
Yeah, of course. So before we get into the live coaching session, I want to talk a little bit about what it means to be coachable, because a lot of people say they are open to coaching or want to coach. Some people actually even seek out coaches or advisors or mentors to help them, but they're unwilling to be coachable. They're unwilling to allow the coaching to be received or taken well, to be able to find the golden nuggets in it. Some people are unwilling to even change, but yet they want to be coached and they want to be able to have different results. So let's talk a little bit about what it means to be coachable. I threw down 3 different nuggets. One is you have to be open-minded, meaning you have to be willing to be open to all possibilities, meaning that anything is possible. Just because you can't see it yet or don't have that kind of experience or the results to back it up doesn't mean that it's not possible. Somebody is creating something that you can't see. So that's one, is be open-minded to that all things are possible as we discuss them. The next thing is you got to be willing to be self-aware. You got to be willing to look at yourself. You got to look inward rather than looking outward to trying to change things outside of you that you can't control, really. You can only really control everything inside you. So you got to be willing to look inward and take an inventory of what's going on with me. How am I feeling? What's coming up for me? What are my thoughts? What are my limitations? So it's everything about looking at self and really being self-reflective. And then number 3 is you got to be willing to surrender some old limiting beliefs that aren't real or that they're not working for you anymore, right? Some old conditioning or outdated perspectives that might not be effective in your life or what you're up to moving forward. So those are the things that I want to remind you as well as the listeners as they're listening to the live coaching session.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is actually something I was thinking about this morning, just preparing for today. And I think for me, the biggest nugget in all of this, in the experience I'm having with you being coached, is that I'm still the player. You're just my coach, right? And it's not, I don't get to bring all of my problems to you or my issues or questions and then you solve them. At the end of the day, I still have to catch the ball and run the play. And so it's being open to what you have to say, but also being open to change. and the more that we work together, I realize that I have to be ready to change my mind. I have to be ready to see it from my life, myself, whatever it is, from a new perspective. And so it's that willingness. I think that's the biggest key word there, is being willing. You know, it's not just showing up and just being here, okay, Alex, do your work. It's no, like, I have to be ready to do the work, and I have to be willing to change my mind, to see something differently and do it differently.
Yeah, and I think that one of the most challenging things for human beings is being willing to give up some of the way that they see it or have been seeing it for so many years, because this is the conditioning that we talk about. If I've been doing something for so long, it becomes now my truth or just the way it is. And for me to give that up or be willing to give it up, for a lot of people, it's scary because it's all they've known. It's the only way they've operated. It's the only world that they've been existing in for such a long time that it's very challenging to wrap your mind into a whole different new way, right?
Right. Well, and we convince ourselves that it works for us too,
Yeah.
because we don't know any other way.
Oh, for sure.
And so I've got it like this, and it works for me.
And you're willing to go to bat for it too. You're ready to battle and go, no, Alex, this is the way it's been working for so many years.
Yeah.
So to be open to that, that's great that it's been working to that level or gotten you to the stage that you're at. But can we reinvent it? Can we maybe add some things to it or take some things out and just course correct it or nudge it a different way such that you're able to go to the next level or create something extraordinary for you in your wants and your needs and your desires of what you're yearning for?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get into the coaching. So what'd you come here to talk about? What's your question, or what do you want to dive into?
So I did prepare some questions and some talking points, but I think that's the biggest key for me today, was trying to not prepare too much and not overthink it, because something that you and I have been working on is just me being vulnerable and I, and letting my guard down and not letting my ego rule everything that I do. And so while I would have loved to prepare more, my goal today was I'm committed to showing up just as is, and I'm open to wherever the conversation takes us, because every session we do have, nuggets do come from. But to dive right in, my first question for you, my first talking point is, we've been working together now you've known me for over 10 years, and we've been working together now for a few months. What do you see as my biggest blind spot still? I feel like I am very willing to change and to put in the work, and but I do feel I'm curious, as you get to know me, what am I still not seeing, or what's my biggest area of opportunity?
It's a great question. I think that the blind spot for you is that you don't remember or know yourself to be amazing. And anytime that I get an opportunity to remind you, you mask it with a smile or a laugh, and you downplay it instead of just really acknowledging how amazing you are and how creative and how powerful and all the goodies and the great gifts that God's blessed you with and that your parents have nurtured out of you, and all the morals and values that they've instilled in you. You got it right there underneath in your heart, and you're sharing it and shining it every day. I just don't see that you acknowledge it, and you're, for whatever reason, unwilling to fully accept how truly beautiful you are as a human being and a leader. And every time I get an opportunity to let you know that I see you, it just seems like you don't want to believe me and that you want to fight for all the limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. It's like you're more committed to proving the limiting beliefs are true rather than believing what someone else is able to see that you are not willing to see yet.
I knew that question was going to open up a big can of worms, but I hear you, and I this is a conversation we've had, and it's an experience I've had in other relationships too.
I don't think you hear me though. I think you're listening to me, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. Because if you allow yourself in the moments that you have allowed yourself to really hear me, you start tearing up because you're recognizing, your spirit is recognizing something that I'm saying that is true about you. And it's your ego that gets in a lot of the times and wants to come up with something great to say about it, or it's trying to find the right words. And up here is not the place you're going to validate it. It's in here. And then here it shows up in a certain way where it's being well received, and you're being acknowledged, and you're remembering who you are.
Yeah, and hearing you say all this, I mean, I am listening, and I am trying to hear, and it lands, it resonates. But how do I feel like I'm willing? Of course, like, why would I not be willing to hear those things and to really, I want to feel amazing. I want to see what you see and what other people see. But so how, and I know that we're doing the work, and I do feel I'm falling in love with myself in new ways, in getting to learn and know myself in new ways. But it's still, you said that you started speaking, and I feel myself cringe, I thank you, but also, and it's something we talked about the other day is, what I pull from to build my confidence. And a lot of it is, we talked about current results. And so if I've done something, I'm okay taking a compliment for that. Okay, thank you for what, X, Y, and Z. But telling me what you see in me is I want it to click. And I do think I'm amazing. And I do think I'm loving, and I'm compassionate. But it's hard to hear that. It's hard to sit here and not feel super awkward. Even when it's just you and I one-on-one saying those things. So how do I stopping myself? How do I remain vulnerable and open in any situation, whether it be you and I one-on-one on this show or, in my relationships?
I think a little bit at a time you have to start, making declarations to yourself from a place of being worthy and self-loving and accepting of yourself. And so you get to make these powerful affirmations every day to yourself all day long to course correct some of the limiting beliefs that you already have ingrained in you since you were little, right? Because when you're little, you make up stories about yourself that aren't true. But at the time, because your mind and your spirit aren't fully developed yet, you have to come up with something. And because your mind and spirit aren't fully developed, ego steps in and goes, hey, kid, I'll translate this for you. And then it comes up with a negative story about you that's not necessarily true. And so the process of awakening and becoming more conscious is realizing that there is some internal gifts and truths about who you are and how you were born and what you're truly made of is true about you, and that the other stories that you've created when you were young are just beliefs. And so you got to learn the distinction between a belief and the internal truth about who you really are. So every time I'm reminding you the truth of my perspective of you and how you show up and the gifts that I can see in you, you have to start learning how to trust my perception of you and then start owning it as it's yours, or validating somewhere inside you here that you walk away going, you know what he or she sees in me, and when they acknowledge me, there's a part of me that inside I'm going like this, but up here I'm going, no, I can't accept that. So you're right, there is this internal struggle that you're having, and you got to decide which one you want to believe, and it comes down to you just deciding. And that's where personal confidence comes from, is just deciding that you are that beautiful human being, spiritual being with a huge heart, and that you have all these beautiful abilities about you, that you're loving, that you're compassionate, that you're forgiving, that you're enough. And I can go down a whole list of different ways of being that you get to learn how to master while you're shifting these conversations in your head as well. And we went over, I think, the other day, a very powerful list of all the different ways of being that you already have within you. You just got to start learning how to practice them more. It's an art form.
Yeah, and just acknowledging them. I mean, since our session the other day, I've read over the list, in the morning, and it's a lot of them are words that I've used before, that I've written down, but to say it and to start my day that way, it really does create the context for the rest of my day, whether it's in one-on-one situations, whether it's conversations with myself, or if it's, with a group of people, whatever. When I start to feel myself shut down or my guards go up, like, I remind myself, like, I am open, I'm loving, even in the gym, I am strong, I am, I'm confident. And so I'm able to not allow, some of those other things that do attack my ego and, not allow them to sway me or to stop me from being myself, in whatever situation.
Yeah. So when you get focused more on the inner qualities that you have as your power, and stop focusing on the things that you do or have, or stop focusing on the result, because we've been trained since we were little to do more, better, different, and have certain things that are symbols for my success. Rather than, no, I'm already that powerful, loving, confident, beautiful human being already inside of me. I just got to learn how to have the courage to go in there and access those different ways of being more often. And it doesn't matter what the results I create, or it doesn't matter all the things that I have, or it doesn't matter what I'm actually doing in my life. I'm already beautiful and powerful and loving and authentic and giving already without having anything.
Yeah, and I hear you, and I've heard this before, but that's something that I'm working through right now. Is you said it doesn't matter what you have or what results you create, or as long as I know who I am. That sounds great, and I am willing, and I can't wait for the day that rings true and that settles really deep. But right now, I'm thinking you're insane.
Yeah, I get it, and so are probably millions of other people that are listening, whether they're listening now or 20 years from now, because of this podcast that they get, and it's information that's not common to the way that they think or been raised or have led to believe. Because we grow up in a society where society says, no, it's based on the amount of money you have in your account. It's based on the kind of people that admire you and look up to you, and the status and all of those things that are outside of you. And we've been trained as what I do and what I have outside of me that are symbols for my own value, rather than realizing that those inner qualities is all you really need. And when you start focusing, and I'm just going to share out of my own playbook, when I started focusing more on who I'm being in each moment of my life and really focusing on dialing in those inner qualities, all of a sudden I started showing up in my outer life in a certain way that I started to create results that matched up the inner being. What most of us do is we don't focus on the inner qualities, and we go out there and we do all the doing and the having, hoping that that's going to bring the fulfillment in the inner being, and it doesn't. That's why we have multimillionaires or successful people, celebrities, and you have all these people in the limelight that are hooked on drugs or wanting to commit suicide, or just a few days away from going into a psych ward, because none of those external things really give you that inner peace, that inner confidence, that fulfillment that can only be generated from inside of you. We have been conditioned to believe that when I get all those things outside and get enough of them, then that's going to bring the inner fulfillment, and that's absolutely not the way it works.
So then, is it possible to have fulfillment from the inside out and still have all of those things?
Absolutely. That's actually one of the most amazing lives to live, is going inward and developing all those inner qualities, and then out of lighting the fire in all of those qualities and fanning the inner flame, there's something about you that oozes out that other people want to be around you. They want to support you. Whatever projects you're in, they're like, I'm in with you. And you start creating a team of people to support you in creating those results. And then everyone gets to win. Everyone gets to be a part of it. It's not this ego, arrogant person that goes, I've done this all by myself. You're able to now create a village around you to go out and create those things. Now we're all successful. And so it's very hard to wrap your mind around the concept that, don't you think somebody that has all those inner qualities mastered at a higher level, do you doubt that type of person is not going to be successful in this world?
I don't doubt it, but then I doubt the desire at that level. If you're so full from the inside out and those things don't matter, then what's the point of going after them, of having them, of obtaining them?
I'm glad that you said that, because if and when you start to develop that, you start to realize that, you know what, I really don't need to do some of these things. And I really don't need to have any of those things that I thought I needed to have when I wasn't developed inside. And so you do get clarity on what is important at those later stages, at those higher stages. You start to get clear about what's important and what doesn't. And so that your doingness and your havingness is all dialed in now more towards things that are really important to you and really matter to you at that higher level. So you shave off all the stuff that's really not important to you anymore. But it was important to you before, when you were still, lacking and doubting yourself. Certain things you had on your radar. You're like, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to have this, and I want to have that. But when you start to reach those higher levels of consciousness and you're mastering those higher levels of being, you start to shave off the things that really aren't important to you anymore at that stage. So what's coming up for you right now? What are you hearing? Not just from me, but from your own internal voice. What's the takeaway? What's the aha moment? I need you to kind of repeat back to me what's opening up for you in this dialogue.
Yeah, I think first, when you're speaking, I pull what resonates and I apply it to, I kind of translate it too. And so while a lot of people do strive for the money and the success, don't get me wrong, I love those things, but I feel
I love them too.
Yeah.
It's not about not wanting those things. It's about not being focused on those and thinking that those things are going to bring the peace and the confidence and the power and the assuredness and the enoughness. Those results don't bring the authentic experience that lasts for a lifetime. Having those things and accomplishing those things brings a temporary feeling, almost like a teaser. And you feel it for a little while, and then it fades, and now you got to go out and do more, better, different, and create better results to keep that temporary feeling going. So here's an example. Have you ever bought a brand new car or something close to a brand new car? It's new to you, and you're so excited, right? You're driving it around, and you got this brand new smell of a brand new car, and that feeling, you feel alive, you feel important, you feel powerful, you feel confident, and you're driving around. How long does that feeling last?
I'm laughing because the first brand new car I did buy, 2 days later, it rained and I left my sunroof open and it completely flooded it. So it only lasted 2 days
okay,
for me.
For
but
you,
it's
2 days.
temporary, right?
All right?
By the time you need a car wash, that it's...
No, well, for me, because I've gone down that road, for me, it only lasts until I see the next new car come by and I go, I want that one now.
Right.
And now I look at the car that I'm driving and I'm like, I'm totally over this. So it could be 3 months, 6 months, a year, it depends. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you have something outside you that you really want, when you finally achieve it, it's a symbol for a certain experience that we're really yearning for inside.
Right.
And then that feeling is temporary, and then it starts to fade away. And the reason why I know this is because I coach highly successful people that are master doers. They can outdo anybody because that's just the way they're wired. So they're do, have, and then they get the temporary beingness on the back end that fades. So what they end up saying and having the courage to admit, Alex, they say is, Alex, I have to do more, better, different to keep outdoing myself. But they never get the final feeling of feeling like I can now relax. I feel at peace. I feel, even people that retire that are master doers, they go crazy because they go, I got to be doing something, because they've wired themselves to always be doing and having. They haven't learned how to be enough, to be at peace, to be fulfilled, to be confident, to be assured, because they haven't developed those abilities within themselves. They've been doing the chasing to get that little goodie that seems to be fleeting away as soon as you get it. And that's that feeling that we're chasing. Yeah.
And
with that being,
with you saying that brings up what I was feeling before even more. And the nugget, or what really is coming up for me is, yes, the materialistic things do play a role in it all. But for me, that new car feeling, that that high, and I'm more aware of it now, but it's hard for me to even say it right now. That new car feeling for me is other people's approval, that validation that I receive from somebody else being happy with me or impressed, or and it does not care what area of my life it's in. It if it's in my professional life, or if it's my mother being proud of me, mm-hmm. or my sisters looking up to me, or just my boss being happy with the work I've done, or being able to help people and then see the effect on them. It's not just that I need the validation, but being able to see my impact on other people, and if I'm making somebody else's life better or making them happy, I thrive off of the feedback I get from other people's reaction to me. And so when somebody's disappointed with me, when somebody's not happy with me, when they're annoyed with me, it kills me. And me saying this right now is really difficult because I have not been able to acknowledge it up until recently.
This is the cool thing about you having the courage to actually say that. When you're doing a coaching session, you're willing to out yourself like that. You slowly, your ego hears and realizes that you spotted the ego game, and then it can't keep playing that game with you anymore. So you actually start to shut down that mechanism. So I am giddy and excited that you're actually willing to say that, because in a one-on-one with you and me, it's only you, me, and the wall. But you having the courage to say that with you, me, and whoever's listening is going to be one of the biggest breakthroughs you're going to have in your life. You just don't know it yet. But when we come back from the break, we're going to take it to a whole nother level. So stay tuned for more of the Alex Urbina radio show right here in your hometown station, KHTS.
Come join me, Arif Halby, for Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Every Tuesday at noon, we uncover ways to help you manage your money, get out of debt, and prepare for your retirement. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Are you not sure if you can retire yet? Listen to us and learn about tips for savings, retirement strategies, and so much more. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour on your hometown station, KHTS.
La Esmeralda is home to truly authentic Mexican food. This family-owned restaurant prides itself on its fresh-to-order menu. Even the tortillas are made in-house. If you have a taste for sizzling fajitas, flautas, or menudo, you have to try La Esmeralda's Mexican and seafood restaurant. Dine in or order out for the most authentic Mexican food Santa Clarita has to offer. Their Taco Tuesdays, it'll turn you into a regular. La Esmeralda on Bouquet at Haskell.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
And welcome back to the Alex Urbina radio show. I'm your host. I'm an advanced life coach specialist. And in case you missed the first half, we're in a live coaching session with Abby. Abby, how old are you?
I'm 30.
30. I love that younger people are now starting to be open to be coached and to be mentored. And this is why I say that. What I've been noticing more and more, because I work with teens and I work with youth, been working with them for a little over 20 years, is that I'm starting to notice a trend, and some of the trend for millennials and now the Generation I generation. They seem to have this know-it-allism about them that limits them from actually learning from people that want to share their wisdom with them. Or they're not open to seeing it a different way, such that they can take the wisdom from someone else that's lived lifetimes before them and have made lifetimes of mistakes, and that they're willing to go, kid, let me share with you all the mistakes I've made. And you're just sitting there going, keep them coming.
Can I cut you off for a
Absolutely,
second? Can I give you some feedback?
For sure.
The first thing is thinking that you're separate from them.
Yeah.
That right there. I mean, I'm kind of on the upper cusp of millennial, I think, what is it, till like 38 years old right now. But especially the younger generation too. I think, first of all, we have all the information at our fingertips. So anything that you and I talk about, all these concepts, it's available to me somewhere. But the part that we miss out on as humans, I think, is that we have to be willing and open, and we don't know what we don't know. So it's not just about having the information at our fingertips, but having somebody who we can open up to and be able to actually have that dialogue. And I think that my experience with you, I was open to it because of my friendship with you, I've known you, but I didn't know what I was in for. And now being in it, I love it. And I think that in some capacity for the rest of my life, I will have some type of coach, mentor, and somebody who holds me accountable. And, but we don't realize that it's not just about the information. It's about applying it and really being able to hold up a mirror and look at ourselves and see, and that goes for all humans, not just millennials, but yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with you. The know-it-allism goes across the board, because I know 60, 70, 80-year-olds that are still stuck in that they know better for themselves, and they're going to go to their deathbed never really being open to having anyone else share some insight or a different perspective, and they're going to be rigid in their thinking, and they're just going to live the rest of their life doing the best they can with the information that they've gathered, and they get to be right about it. They get to die being right about the way that they see it, rather than being open to, no, I want to learn from all different perspectives. I want to be open to all possibilities so that I can learn and grow, and then be able to have multiple options to choose from, such that I'm creating a life that has maximum value. And I think that's what it goes back to is, and the reason why I was sharing why I'm excited because you're in your 30s is that you're still young enough that, you could very easily be rigid about the information you've collected and the data and the beliefs, and just not be willing to be open to try on a different jacket to see if it fits or not. So that's why I'm excited about really working with you and helping you just reach your next level of greatness.
Yeah, and I'm excited too, and I love what we've done. I'm realizing in real time that I say I don't like, because I apply positive reflecting in real time. But what we've been doing has worked really well for me, and I'm really excited for what's to come. And I think the big piece for me has just been the application, the practice, putting it into practice, and there's a lot of concepts and there's things that we discuss and distinctions that you share with me that I've heard before, I've read about, or I have, even tried to apply in my life, but it's not the same as actually looking at my life where I'm at right now and applying it to the real life situations that I'm experiencing, and then being able to not only, we can discuss something about my relationship, but then, the next day I'm in the gym, and that same distinction is applying in the gym or in, my professional, my job search, or, so it's really taking and understanding it, but then applying it to all areas of my life, being able to put it into practice is what the most powerful piece is. And
then let me also share with you why, when you say, like, a lot of those distinctions you've either read or you learn or know it, a lot of times I'll tell some of my clients knowing it is not enough.
Right.
Because you can know everything there is to life, but if you're not practicing it, or if you're not being called on it, or if you're not putting it into real life scenarios, then it's just a concept.
Yeah, you can be a know-it-all, but are you being it all?
That's right.
Are you a be-it-all?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
you got a new phrase now. I might have to steal that one from you.
It's all yours.
But are you implementing it? Are you being it? Because you can understand the concept and go, and this is how this came about. I've been in transformational training for 24 years, and in the training room, quite often in the sharing, because that's where the power is in the sharing, people will quite often say, but Alex, I know this, so I'm frustrated because I know exactly what we're talking about and the thing that we're learning. Like, I've known this for years. And this is what's prompted me to come up with the response that knowing's not enough. Based on results, you knowing it's not enough. So if you say, Alex, I know that I'm stubborn, and I know that with my kids, my stubbornness gets in the way. And it's like, but you knowing it doesn't cause you to be any different, because you're still being stubborn with your kids, and they're still got walls up, and they still don't want to open up to you, and they still don't want to connect with you. So you knowing it doesn't do you no good. Maybe it's doing you a disservice by you knowing it, rather than being willing to work on it, have someone hold you accountable, and have someone to bounce off the prices you pay, and really have it resonate with you in a way that it causes you to shift or change your behavior. So it's a little bit more than just knowing it, because if that was the case, we would just read books all day long, and then we would just be all knowing and all masterful, right?
Right, absolutely. And that brings up, the control versus no control, right? Like I told you the other day, this concept, the serenity prayer, I have known my whole life, but sitting there with you really like defining, like, no, I can't control that. Yes, I can. This is the only thing I can only control myself, and really going through, can you control your money? Can you control your family? Can you control all these things? And me having to say, no, I can't control so-and-so's opinion of me. No, I can't control how much money is in my account at this moment, whatever it is, was more than knowing it, was experiencing it and realizing it. And that's something that obviously I'm going to continue practicing, but I've known that concept my whole life, but to really experience it and apply it, the practice is where all, the majority of the value is for me. So
let me explain to you what happened in that process. And then before I do that, I got to tee everyone up.
Yeah.
We talked about the other day the difference between control versus no control. And there's a universal law that implies there are things in your life that you actually have control over, and there's other things that you have no control over. So when you draw the diagram, the things in the inner circle are things that you actually have control over, and things on the outside you don't have control over.
The control donut.
Yeah, the donut, right? So then if I say to you, where does the weather go? Is it control or no control?
No control.
So you put it in the no control. And then all of a sudden I throw another scenario like other people's opinions about you, control or no control.
No control.
So then you put in the no control, and then I look at you and go, then why do you get mad when people don't like something about you? And then you go, and then you pause, and then you got to think about, why do I if I have no control? So it's not about understanding the concept or knowing the concept. It's about distinguishing what it is from the other thing. And so by putting it in a place where now I'm challenging you in your real life about the real things that are happening to you and the understanding of the concept, now you go, oh my God, I never realized that even though I know I have no control over what people say about me, then why is it that when people do say something about me that I don't like, I get annoyed or I get upset or I get furious? So really having somebody question you and challenge you and really have you look at some of those things is where the breakthrough happens.
Yeah.
And most people aren't willing to go through that process. Most people are not courageous enough. And I say this all the time. To be coached, you got to be a warrior. Like you got to have some really thick skin, and you got to be willing to handle it. You got to go in the heat
and be uncomfortable. Put yourself outside your comfort.
For sure.
Put myself outside my comfort.
Because there's plenty of times I've checked in with you after a coaching session, whether it's a day later or 2 days later, and you'll text me back, and I'm like, "How are you feeling?" You're like, "I'm not feeling good right now," and you don't realize it, but when I'm sitting in front of my phone, and I get that text back, I got a big smile on my face because I know that you're in it. Because the coaching doesn't stop right after the session. Those seeds have been planted, and then you take those seeds with you into your real life, and you're actually now being challenged, and now you're starting to see how to apply it, how to be some of it, and then you're really in it, and you're building that muscle. You're really kind of tearing that muscle down such that it regrows and becomes stronger, harder, faster.
Yeah. And I think a big nugget for this whole experience too, working with you, is the idea that as my coach, I want to make you happy and make you proud. And so, in the beginning, you would text me after you check in, and I would want to show you that, hey, what we talked about really landed, and look how I'm implementing it, and let me demonstrate and show you how I got what you shared. And so really being able to say I'm not feeling good, or, I'm having a horrible day, or, just to be able to be authentic with you in my relationship and my communication with you too is also really teaching me a lot too, and allowing me to let go of that old,
we'll call it pleasing Abby.
Yes.
Because you were so willing to please other people instead of you just being real and authentic. I'm so glad we got past that stage, because now we can really get some work done at a whole nother level. Because prior to that, it was more about you saying the right thing, or saying what you thought I needed to hear, or, putting out a certain picture that your ego wants to present you as, and that you're smart and you're sharp and you're intelligent and that you're getting it and all that kind of stuff. Instead of going, no, I'm really struggling with what we talked about yesterday, and hey, can you get a minute? Can we chat? Because I need to hear it again or fine tune some things. So that's what I love about this work, and I love that you're willing to get in there and just keep going at it.
Yeah, well, because as much as I like to think, as much as my ego will tell you that the way I've had it is working for me, it's not. And so I am at a point right now, like I would rather be uncomfortable and grow than just stay where, because it's not working for me. And even hearing you point out that, in the beginning of our sessions that I that I was trying to say the right thing and try to come across a certain way. It irks me to my core. It makes me so uncomfortable to hear you say that you were aware of those things, because my ego thinks that I've got it down to a T, that you aren't aware that I'm trying to say the right thing.
Yeah.
So to hear you call me on that is so uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's the breakthrough, right? Is because the ego goes, oh, they don't know. They don't know that we're playing this game. You think that you got everyone fooled when there's certain people that can see your racket, right? You can see the game. And this is the only reason why I can see it. The only reason why I can see it is because it reminds me of my own rackets. It reminds me of my own ego when I try to pretend like I know it all, or I got it all dialed in, or that nothing can hurt me and I'm strong, and what somebody said doesn't affect me. So when I can see my own rackets, then I'm able to see it in other people. And you're going to get to that stage too. The more that you out yourself and the more you're able to see all of your dysfunctions and your fears and your insecurities, the more you become an expert at that, you're going to start spotting it in others. However, you're going to be more compassionate when you see them going through that, and you're not going to call them out. Like, I never really called you out and said, hey, this is how you're – like, I waited subtly until we developed that relationship and there's that trust and that credibility. Then now we can talk about it and we can joke about it, but still learn from it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're at this cool stage right now where my ego can be part of the conversation,
Yeah.
but I'm, like, able to acknowledge and recognize her, because I think it was hard for me, too. I even said her, like it's a –
Do you have a name for her, by the way? Because some of us, when we get to a certain stage, we actually name our ego.
You want me to get super vulnerable right now?
Yes.
So my sister's going to love this. My youngest sister, Andy. I'm a Gemini.
Okay.
So there's already that duality.
Yeah.
But she has named I have 4 alter egos.
Wow.
Well, 4 total.
That got named.
Yes, that she's named, and she shares them with she shared with my boyfriend,
Okay.
and she shares with my close friends, and she loves. So sharing with
What are the
your audience
names?
now. Okay, so there's Cherie. My middle name is Cherie.
Okay.
But Cherie is like my feisty, spicy.
The finger snap?
We used to live together in Hollywood, and she would say, like, "Oh, there's Cherie," and we'd be going out. Cherie's got the
she's
ultimate confidence, and she's a little
yeah.
wild woman. And then there's Gail, so Abigail. So Gail is, and she's gonna kill me because I'm gonna butcher this. Gail is like the one who goes to work. Gail is the one who has gotten as far as she has in her career. Gail is smart. She's organized. Yes,
classy.
She's kind of a no nonsense, but she's kind. But she's just, she's a hard worker, and Gail's helping you out with your stuff.
Okay, okay.
With the social media,
awesome.
And all that. And then there is Marcia. So I'm the oldest of 3 girls. So Marcia Brady, I'm perfect, and Marcia's a B. And so whenever I'm being bratty, she'll, okay, Marcia, whenever I'm being rude to my sisters or whatever it is, my ego doesn't want me to call that one out right now. So Marcia's my ego.
Okay.
Like, she's hardcore, and I'm realizing that right now as I'm saying it. And then there's Abby, who is the collective of all, right? So it's the perfect, so when I'm being myself and I'm in my balance, then I'm Abby. So
I love that. I love that.
So
and I see abs.
I've never, okay.
Abs is the little 4-year-old girl that I see in you. And I didn't know you when you were a kid, but I can see this little girl in you that has, Kool-Aid stains around your mouth, and you're all dirty and your hair's all and you're just like full of life and fun, and you want to play, and you don't have a care in the world other than just to be with people and have fun and just connect. And that's that little girl, that authentic little girl that I'm trying to get you to tap back into, because that's your true authentic self. And we're going to keep chipping away and peeling away at all the other stuff until you just become that little girl that just doesn't care what people think about you, and you're freed up from that place. So just live your life and choose what you choose and be okay with whatever it is that you choose. And that light is going to attract the right people to you to be on your team, and it's going to attract, all this amazing gifts that you deserve.
Freaking out right now, Alex, because we're on the air, and I feel so seen right now. Like, Abs is definitely, it's a nickname that, and it's easy if it's short, people will come up, but that's something that definitely has been with me since childhood. And you just said that, and I think that you're onto something. And I like the way that made me feel, and I do feel, I feel very seen right now, and I have backed out of where I just was. I was
That's
about
okay.
to cry right there.
That's okay.
I was trying to stay in it, but
you're getting there, and that's the cool thing about it is a little bit of time you're allowing yourself to be a little bit more authentic, a little bit more real, and I'm really proud of you. I'm really excited for the growth that you've done, but also the potential growth. Like I can't wait to keep being a part of every version, right? Abby 4.0, Abby 5.7, and just go down that road and be part of that journey, and to watch you develop and grow is going to be I'm honored just to be a part of that process and just to witness it. So we're going to go on another break. When we come back, we'll probably wrap up the show, but before we do that, maybe throw a little golden nugget, one more little question to give people more value, and then we'll kind of wrap it up, and then we'll send people on to the rest of their Friday. So stay tuned for more of the Alex Urbina Radio Show right here in your hometown station, KHTS.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly, or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, SCV.
The Santa Clarita Artists Association is hosting our annual gala, the Art Classic, Saturday, September 29th from 1:30 to 5 p.m. This fundraiser highlights professionally judged original artwork by local artists in all mediums. For only $25, you can enjoy live music, wine, hors d'oeuvres, and meet the artists in person. The Art Classic will be held at Hart Hall in Hart Park. All artwork will be on display for free public viewing Sunday, September 30th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For tickets and more information, visit us at santaclaritaartists.org.
Coming to the Canyon Santa Clarita, the Magpie Salute featuring Black Crowes Rich Robinson, Mark Ford, Sven Pippin, and others. A tribute to Aretha Franklin, Tesla, Fuel, Vince Neil of Motley Crue, Doc In, Stryper, Faster Pussycat, Warrant, The Dan Band, The Temptations, Tito Puente Jr., Martin Sexton, The Guess Who, Ambrosia, English Beat, Berlin, Al Jardine of the Beach Boys, Justin Hayward of the Moody Blues, John Mayall, and many more. Plus, Throwback Thursdays with Fast Times, and it's the perfect place to host your parties and special events. Book your holiday party now. The Canyon Santa Clarita, where music meets the soul. Tickets available through Ticketmaster.
Hi, I'm Steve Cruz, and my wife and I own the local pub and grill. With 19 70-inch TVs, it's the best place in the valley to catch a game. We have a vast selection of beer, wine, and specialty cocktails to choose from, including our charity ale, where 10% of every pint we sell goes to Carousel Ranch. Our menu features classics with a flavorful twist. Come by for Taco Trivia Tuesdays at 7, Wines Day for bingo and karaoke starting at 8 p.m., and karaoke every Saturday at 9. Local Pub and Grill, right next to Bevmo on the Old Road. Support local, support community.
KHTS.
Now FM, 98.1 FM, and AM 1220, your hometown station.
And welcome back to the Alex Urbina Radio Show. I'm in studio with Abby Uriosti. And if you've missed the last 45 minutes or you're just chiming in, this is a pretty good show. You should probably go back, rewind it, or come back later and take a listen to the whole show. We talked a lot about, different distinctions to help us realize how to access more of our full potential, as well as acknowledge that I am worthy and I am beautiful and amazing and creative, and I have some extraordinary gifts inside of me already. I just got to learn how to tap into those inner ways of being and bring them forth more often in my life, and just really acknowledge that's my higher self. And the more I can access that and tap into that, that's really all I need, and put less attention and focus and worry on what it is that I'm doing and having, and all the results and the accolades from people and the validation that's all happening outside of me. Surrender all that. Let all that go. Release the addiction that we have to being needed and approved of and validated, and start going inward and start, doing some of that work, and you'll start noticing that you're going to surrender and let go of a lot of that stuff that doesn't even matter, and feel more powerful and more free, and just feel better about yourself. So with that, do you have one last question, or do you just want to wrap up the whole show?
I thought I had a question, but now hearing you speak on what you just spoke on, I feel I have a question that just popped up.
Okay.
You said surrender, this word. I love the word, and it comes up a lot in our sessions and in other conversations, but like, what does it mean and how do you do it? You know, like surrender, like, surrender to the process or I mean, I know what the definition of the word is, but like, what does that look like, and how can I apply that? How can
it's a great question. Before we talk about surrender, we got to talk about the word that is not having you surrender, and that distinction is called resistance. So there's a psychological resistance that we as human beings have towards things, and it shows up like, I don't like this, I don't like that. This isn't good. This isn't right. This is bad. And so then we resist things. So put your hand up and imagine that I'm psychologically in resistance to your hand being here. And surrender means to just not care about it anymore. Like, just let it go. And so once I stop pushing back on your hand and just put your hand up. Once I decide, like, I'm not going to not be in resistance to your hand being there, then I'm freed up now. And you can hold your hand there as long as you want. I just don't care anymore because I've given you permission to let your hand be there. Because you know what? I have no control over you and your hand.
Whatever this is,
whatever that
for.
symbol is, I'm just not going to resist it no more. So the minute I decide that you have permission to talk trash about me or have your own opinion about me or not like what I'm doing and all that, I'm totally surrendered to being in resistance to what you have to say about me, whether it's good or bad. Even, it's got to go across the table. It means if you're surrendering all the bad comments people have about you, you got to surrender even the good ones. Doesn't mean that you can't receive them and be grateful for them, but if you're going to be grateful for receiving the good ones, then can you challenge yourself to be grateful for even the limiting perceptions and comments about you? Now, that's going to be a real challenge to grow to that level where you can be grateful for all of it.
Yeah, that's another level.
Well, okay, but before it becomes another level, it first has to be a concept that you can go, I like that, or I want that, or I can see that as a possibility. And then from that stage, you can go, now I want to be able to become that person, or I can be so confident, so assured of myself, and love myself so much that I totally surrender what other people, their opinions are about me.
Yeah, I think I have this idea in my head that surrender is an action. That it's a verb, but really it's the lack of, right? It's where I'm over here like, how do I surrender? But I think it's how do I not do anything else?
Yeah, it's not a doingness, it's a beingness. And so the beingness is just take your eye off of it. So here's an example. Something or someone has said something or something is being done, and the more that you focus on it, the more you talk about it, the more you're in disgust of it, and the more you tell your friends how you don't like what it is, you're breathing life into it because you're totally in resistance to it. So what happens is, because you're such a powerful, creative human being with thoughts and words, you're actually breathe more life into it. You're helping it become a bigger monster because you keep talking about it and keep telling everyone your opinion about it. Instead of just deciding, you know what, I'm just going to let what that is be because I can't control it. And I'm going to focus on what Abby wants. If I stop focusing on the things that I don't want and the things that I don't like and just start focusing on things I do want and do like, this thing just does what it does over here in your peripheral. You can look over at it every once in a while and laugh at it or just let it be what it is. But stay focused on what Abby wants. So surrendering is just stop looking and focusing and making a big deal about the things that you don't like or don't want anymore. And then surrender will just take its own course. So what's the takeaway? What's the golden nugget? Because we're going to have to head out of here in a few minutes.
I feel like the golden nugget for everything today is I can be a know-it-all or I can be a do-it-all. But really, like what's important and what I need to be, what I get to be is a be-it-all.
Practice all those different ways of being.
I can know and I can do, but I get to be.
You get to be.
And practicing being all of those things.
So who are you being today? Who are you being today on the radio?
Today I'm more outside my comfort zone than I've been in a very long time. I'm uncomfortable. I am vulnerable. I I want to say authentic, and I'm being as authentic as I know how to be right
Okay,
now. But I
okay.
know there's still very
Truthful?
Yes.
So we'll call it truthful. You've been truthful 100%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind. I'm loving.
Yes, you are.
I'm funny.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
That's all I got right now.
Yeah. So embrace that and bring those into every relationship, every time you engage with people. Just bring those qualities and focus on those qualities instead of trying to be someone specific, and your life's going to take off to a whole nother direction. That's all the time we have, but the good news is we're here live every Friday at noon. Please follow me on Facebook at Coach Alex Urbina. I'm also on Instagram and YouTube. Thanks for joining us on the Alex Urbina Radio Show right here in your hometown station, KHTS.
Thank you.